Yo, YBBK here. In this video, I'll be taking a look at Qwerty Key's new entry offering, the QK75. This is a prototype unit and was sent to me for review, however, all my opinions are unbiased and honest. So a quick rundown, it features a 75% exploded layout, full CNC aluminum case, a rotary encoder which can be swapped for a badge, unique PCB gasket mount, 2.4 GHz wireless support, and 5 stunning PVD backway options offered in both sandblasted and polished. Regarding the case, there are 10 colorways, 4 anodized and 6 spray coated. For the spray coated options, there are slight hints of glitter which allow for a special look. The barebones kit starts at $135 USD, and for $55 more, you can get keycaps and switches. The group buy will be running from now until December 12th. Before the unboxing, a quick word from my sponsor, PCBWay. Your one-stop shop for all DIY tech projects is PCBWay. They provide sophisticated PCB prototyping, production, assembly, and populating. Additionally, they offer injection molding, sheet metal fabrication, CNC machining, and 3D printing. Numerous sub-options are available under each of these services, allowing you to customize the criteria to your needs. The range of materials, finishes, and degree of precision available for CNC machining are just a few examples. The pricing is competitive, and their website and purchase process are both very user-friendly. The description will include a link to their website if you're curious to learn more. Back to the video. The board itself will come in a carrying case and an external accessory package containing a full set of LLab V3 stabilizers, TechFlex coiled USB-C cable, hex screwdriver, keycap and switch puller, rotary encoder, CNC knob, and finally a magnetic badge. With that out of the way, let's move on to the main contents. Within the upper compartment of the carrying case contains a baggie with the gaskets, rubber feet, JST cable, and extra screws. Another baggie contains an extra daughter board and the 2.4 GHz wireless receiver. As for plate options, aluminum, FR4, POM, and PC materials are offered. I will send over both the FR4 and PC. Included with every PCB is dense pour-on plate foam and PE foam. As for the PCB itself, the options are hotswap wireless in both ANSI and ISO, hotswap wired in ANSI, and soldered. The one I have here is the hotswap wireless in ANSI. All wireless PCBs will support 3 modes, wired, Bluetooth, and 2.4 GHz wireless. As you can tell, there are several vertical flex sets across the PCB to allow for a softer typing feel. The sockets are from Kale and support up to 5-pin switches. As mentioned earlier and seen here, the board is mounted via the PCB rather than the usual plate. This opens up the possibility for plateless configurations, which several other YouTubers have tested. Although they all sounded pretty good, I'm not really a fan of plateless hotswap as in most cases, the switches sit loosely. This can damage the PCB or lead to switches coming out while typing. For this, I'll be using a plate in all my tests, however, definitely check out the Plateless Builds as well. For the wireless options, Qwerty Key's proprietary software will be supported. Aside from VIA, it's honestly one of the best firmwares I've seen so far in terms of UI and functionality. As for wired options, the standard QMK VIA will be supported. For the main case, the version I have here is in spray coated milky white. The case foam is pre-fitted. At first impression, I'm really surprised at how premium the case is considering the price. It's fully CNC aluminum and features a brass internal weight. Although hidden once built, it's cool to see small design choices were added. Great attention to detail. The overall look is pretty clean in my opinion, especially with the hangover clip design, hidden screws, sharp angles, rounded corners, and chamfered edges. On the top right, there's a cutout for your choice of a rotary encoder or badge. For spray-coated colorways, there will be incorporation of glitter which shines in certain lighting. Personally, I think this added touch is pretty sick and allows it to stand out. As for the texture, it's incredibly smooth, similar to anodization. Even as a prototype throughout the board, I didn't notice any obvious imperfections or defects. In addition to the internal weight, there's also an external PVD steel weight. The one I have here is in sandblasted chroma, which is static, but does slightly change when viewed at different angles. There's also the Qwerty Key's branding in cursive engraved into the weight. It might not be for everyone, but personally I think it's a really nice touch, giving the case some character. Before we move any further, I install the rubber feet. Hiding underneath the internal weight are 2 2200 mAh batteries. With the case out of the way, I move on to botting the stabilizers. I was originally going to use the included ones, but I've had a bad experience with LLab stabilizers, so I decided to go with TX tabs instead. After some quick wire balancing and lube, they're ready. Since the ones I have here are designed for 1.6mm PCBs, and the QK75 is 1.2mm, I'll layer fabric tape to close the gap. Once done, I clip them in and install the shims. For the first config, I'll be trying all foams along with the PC plate. The switches I'll be using are TCC Golden Pinks. These are incredibly light and loud linears with 37-gram extended springs. The housing and stem are made from some undisclosed proprietary material, but these are really smooth stock and have little to no spring ping. For this, I won't be lubing them. Once installed, I add on the tiny gasket nubs and assemble everything. For keycaps, I'll be using the PBT Fans Climb Blue set sent over by KBD Fans. These will be linked in the description if you're interested. These are double shot PBT, cherry profile, and feature a unique translucent look. The legends are sharp, consistent, and feel quality. At first, I didn't think these would go well with the milky case color, however, after installing them, they turned out to be an amazing match. Here's a quick sound test. For the second configuration, I removed the PE and case foam, only keeping the plate foam. For the third config, I changed out the PC plate to the FR4 one and reinstalled all the foams. However, I noticed that it wouldn't fit into the top case due to the sides of the FR4 plate not being flush. To fix this, I quickly sanded it off camera, which fixed the issue. This shouldn't be an issue on the production units, so don't worry. And finally, I removed all the foams once again except for the plate foam. Alright, so in terms of sound, this board is a huge improvement over the QK75. It's no longer dependent on foam to sound good and definitely has hints of a higher end gasket mounted board. Although the TCC Gold Pinks are naturally higher pitched, the board overall is on the higher pitched end as well. With only the plate foam, it's slightly muted in my opinion, but this can be fixed by taping the flux cuts. Aside from that, I'm pretty pleased with the sound. I didn't notice any hollowness in any configurations, and this is probably a result of the internal weight and external weights keeping the case vibrations down. My suggestion is that if you want the signature owl lab sound, use all the foams. If you want a cleaner, higher pitched sound, use just the plate foam. As for feel, this board has a decent amount of bounce thanks to the unique gasket mount and PCB flex cuts, allowing for a softer typing experience. However, it is limited by the shallow amount of space in the bottom case. In fact, if pressed down hard enough, you can actually feel the PCB bottoming out. To be honest though, this really isn't a big deal for me, as it's already more than enough for my preference. The implementation of gasket nubs reminds me of the tadpole nubs used in the Frog TKL. Although a cool idea, I noticed that the PCB sits quite loose within the case, allowing for unwanted movement. But in general, the QK75 is a solid entry board and probably one of the best as of now. The Zoom TKL, although another great entry option, falls behind in my opinion, as its build quality, attention to detail, and sound isn't on par with the QK75. Then again, everything does come down to preference at the end of the day. It is pretty cool seeing the market gradually shift towards premium entry boards though. Anyways, thanks for watching. If this video helped you out in any way, consider leaving a like or subscribing, it really helps the channel out.